So as we move on to the next scene, we used simple cuts to because we didn't want it to be too over the top. If it had a smooth transition, like a crossfade effect, then probably wouldn't have worked so well. So it just cuts harshly, but it's a general it's used pretty much in every film for cuts, apart from maybe Star Wars. Occasionally we use some special effects, but that's quite an old movie. So simple cuts were very important for us to keep the immersion. So just simple cuts every time. Just keep it on for the right amount of time, to be honest. You just watch it, keep going through it over and over, see what feels right. If it flows, that's good. Don't keep it lingering on a shot for too long. Otherwise, it's good to have tension, good to have long takes. But if you've got really long takes, every time there's a bit of dialogue, it's not going to flow very well. So make sure you cut quite quick after a piece of dialogue is said, if it's back and forth. Ours wasn't so back and forth, so we didn't have to worry about that too much. But still, it's a good note to take. So this bit lasted quite a long time because we needed to see Nick taking that breath in after my piece of dialogue and let it linger on that shot for a good amount of time. And it cuts straight in, and as soon as it cuts, Nick's speaking. And as he finishes, you've got Ed's movement right here, which is what you need to stay on. Don't just cut it straight from that. And then, so you get to see that, it stops for a minute, moves straight onto his face. After a bit, he starts talking, because you're meant to build up tension at that point. As you go along, talks, facial movements, make sure you've got, at the end, one final facial movement, so that it's not, he moves his head, so it's not completely flat the whole time you're filming. You want some change during the shot. So after that, it's quite a sudden edit, and it leaves it on a bit of music for a bit, which is exponentially fading. Make sure the sound design is very important in this movie, because if you don't, in any movie to be honest, if you've got just sound, say you've got birdsong in one of your clips, you don't want it to cut straight to another section of that where the wind is a bit louder, birdsong's in a different order. It just if you've got a car going past and it cuts out immediately in the next scene. So sometimes you need to seep sound over from one shot to another. So if you're doing an establishing shot like the next one here with Ed, we faded this one in because we felt that we needed some way to show that it's a different point. We had a black section here, just nothing, then fades in, so it's like you know it's a flashback to another point. Also backed up by the dialogue. So as Eddie's moving along, the shot lingers for quite a bit. Honestly, if you cut out all of your ambient sounds, just play music, it gets there might be a more dreamlike quality to it, because it's detached from reality, not so realistic. If you're doing this and it's present times, you want it to be in the moment, you'd probably keep in a lot of ambient sounds. But we reduced it a lot for this. We wanted to still keep them in, but reduce them and made sure that it doesn't sound jarring as it flows to the next section. The music helps to keep that consistency in a non-linear way. So whilst you could fade in the bird song from each clip, the music keeps a standard consistency throughout your film. It's moving along. This cut, we had to make sure that the audience knows the establishing location for the whole scene. This is where the whole scene's set, inside this abandoned greenhouse. Keep that shot going for as long as possible. but don't make it go on too long. Then it cuts as soon as there's the high-pitched whistle. We had to cut that down quite a lot. The frequency was really high to start off with, but changing, if you go from on here, you go to audio gain, you can normalise the max peak for decibels for that song, so it won't be too high pitched. Still noticeable, but it will be more in line with the rest of the song. Not too jarring as well. Lots of jarring on it here. But as you go along, it's walking. Make sure he leaves the shot. When he's left the shot, make sure that he's in roughly the same location that he was in the last one. So here you can see he's coming down the ridge just here. That's where I was filming. So he's got to the ridge. You can see him step down, and on the next scene he's just coming off the ridge there. So keeping that consistency is very good, because you wouldn't want him already being there if the last shot was him there. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter too much, but in this case we wanted to keep it consistent. Here we were going to just do separate shots of Eddie standing here and then cut to this, but we thought it would be more challenging to us and more professional to make the shot flow for quite a long time. So it starts off focusing on Eddie, then manually focused to our object, or MacGuffin as film industry might call it, and comes along as he grabs it, refocuses on Ed's face afterwards, and we had to do a lot of sound mixing here. So if you just zoom in here to the shot, you can see that there's a lot of cutting out. We cut the video here, here, and here. No, just these two. That's all one clip here. So then we put the sound down for that bit and that bit, so that we'd get to silence for this. We wanted it to be silent when we see the object, because it shows that he's entranced by it, because it's taking over him. That was important for us to get that sort of editing down. Match on action was used when he's looking at the object. He picks it up in this shot. When he picks it up, you see it here, and it just shows his perspective, what he's seeing, and it's very focused, very close up to the object. So it shows that that's going to be an important thing in our film. Moves over to his face, showing his entranced look, refocuses on him until it gets to the next shot. Then we made sure that we cut away to a shot that was far away, because when it's far away, it shows he snapped out of that trance that he was in. And so you get to see him from our view and see what everybody else would see him as just like fixated on this. It's not normal. Then the brightness goes down. That was just quite simple. We wanted to make it smoother, but the effect, I think it works out well. It could definitely be a lot smoother, but it's just toning down the brightness, putting in a bit of purple. We had to put in some purple color grading to this shot, because the next shot that we filmed was it got dark very quickly, and that day it was very purple in the sky. So the next shot is really dark and really purple. So we had to work out a way that's consistent in the theming of our film, and whereas it gets dark and then he suddenly notices it getting dark in line with the music as well. Make sure it's all consistent. Onto this bit, that was added with purple grain effect too. And then once that happens, he's in the shot that we filmed with quite a purple sky. So we had to keep consistency there. If it wasn't for that, then it would have just cut to just a different colour, and it would have put some people off. So we had to make sure that we were consistent in our colour grading as well. Colour grading is very important to set a mood. We didn't have to do too much for the outside sections because it was already quite a moody day, so we got the lighting that we really wanted. And to be honest, at the end of the movie, we wanted to show a clear change from average bright day to the darkness that has now overtaken him. So this lingers for a bit, just showing that he's stuck there and suddenly surprised by the screen that we've got here, some diegesis right there. The screamdemon.wav, obviously. That was made using Audacity at home because we couldn't get it on the computers here, but we just got one of our friends to scream into the microphone really loudly, and we added some reverb effects to it, made it a bit grainier, and really happy with the result that we got, to be honest. It's quite a good sound effect, and it was quite a short scream, so we had to layer it up a bit with the same one, make sure it flowed in quite well. So we've got some effects there to fade in to the other things. So we had three copies, all to make it longer and transition smoother. So as you go along, and then to this bit, he leaves the majority of the frame, and it cuts to black with just the soundtrack to carry it through the last few seconds. And then that fades out very slowly, and then the movie ends. We wanted to end it on an abrupt note so that it leaves the audience guessing. We were actually going to do we had the script for an 8-minute or so movie, but we had to cut that out to get down to the time limit that we were set by the exam board of 2 minutes. So that's the editing process for our film. It's quite a long and arduous process, but once you refine it until you get to the perfect balance that you want of all the features, and I think it came out pretty well. So thank you for watching, and please watch the movie Hidden in Plain Sight. Thank you.